Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Maverick here with another episode of No Guns Live. So, last episode, not really too much to talk about, right? It was kind of fun, but all in all, I do feel like it felt more like a filler episode than anything else. Of course, we got a little bit of development here, right? We learned a little bit about the situation with Tetsuro, and indeed, at the very end of the last episode, we see Tetsuro apparently, being released and coming back, and it's probably going to be the focus of this episode and also going forward, like what really went down between him and Spitsbergen. Did he regain his memories, etc., etc.? And of course, we also get some, I guess, should I say philosophical discussions or quotes from Juzo there in regards to his place in the world and whatnot. But I mean, it's just Juzo being Juzo, right? I don't think that's not all that important in the grand scheme of things. So, anyways, let's just get into this episode and see what Tetsuro has to say. All right, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. I or Itoshi. Wait, what? Okay. And is this? Ah, never mind. I actually didn't quite see the entire thing, like the picture there. Sorry, I kind of missed it, but I was kind of fiddling with my settings and whatnot. Maybe it means Yuzo? The fire here, the fire here. I gotta say, this opening is quite the bop. I'm liking it more and more with each listen. Two gunslave units. Damn myself. Oh, literally? Just coming back? And really? Just like that? A new hottie resort arrives.
悪いな。訳あって壁に穴が開いちまっててな。
いただいたコーヒーが温かいですから。
にしてもあんた、俺の頭を見ても驚かねえんだな。
ああ、そうね。もちろん驚いていますわ。けれど、噂は聞いておりましたし。
You would think that people who seek out Druzo would probably already know what Druzo is.
で、あんたの話ってのは？
はい。私の夫、エドムントを探していただきたいのです。実は私、今のご時世では珍しいことでもありませんが。
I almost forgot about this whole client thing they had going on.
テオドールを私は愛しておりました。決して長くはなかった。けれど、本当に幸せな時間だったのです。ですが、従軍した彼の訃報が届いて、私は悲しみのあまり命を絶とうと。その時、私を救ってくれたのが今の夫、エドムントでした。
Guy at the beginning. Wait, his head is like a motorbike?
体のほとんどを処理したエクステンドですの。偶然にも彼は許嫁のテオドールと同じ部隊だったそうです。二人は戦後処理の一環として不発弾の撤去をしていたらしいのですが、
Bomb disposal unit.
二人は爆発に巻き込まれて、許嫁のテオドールは亡くなってしまいましたが、エドは一命を取り留めることが。ですが、二人の関係を聞いた私には、まるで亡くなったテオドールが私を救うためにエドムントを使わせてくれたかのように思われて、こう言うと薄情な女と思われるかもしれませんが、うぶなことを言い合う年でもありませんでしたし、互いの気持ちを確かめ合ってから夫婦のちぎりを交わすまでに時間はかかりませんでした。
Nothing wrong with that.
トイレか？いや、どうもこういう話は尻の座りが悪くてな。
What?
一月ほど前、エドの様子がおかしいことに気づいたのです。何も言わずに数日間、家を空けるということが何度もあって、そして3日前の晩、戻ってきた夫の腕には新たな拡張処理が施されておりました。夫は私の額に優しくキスをしてこう告げたのです。エマ、俺にはどうしてもやらないといけない。
Yeah, that looks like a motorbike.
必ず君のところへ戻るからと。
過剰拡張か。つまりあんたの旦那は何らかの理由でどこかの誰かに危害を加えるつもりかもしれない。
This actually brings up an interesting question. So, even though they're extended and
エクステンドにも生身の頃の癖というのは残っていたりするものなんでしょうか。
whatnot, so they can reproduce normally?
記憶がねえもんでな。それはどうかしたのか？
私、エクステンドの肌に触れたことは夫相手にしかないのですけれど、なぜかあの人に抱かれていると懐かしさのようなものを感じて。
Nostalgia.
乾さん、お願いです。
Nostalgia?
私とつかないことをしてしまう前に、夫を
So I guess
私のところへ連れ戻していただけませんか。
this Edmund and Theodore thing might go a little bit deeper. Maybe?
仕方ねえだろ。EMS の警備は引き上げちまったし、お前を一人で留守番させるわけにもいかねえからな。
あなたにはハルモニアを使って本来の彼の姿を
取り戻していただきたいのですよ、哲郎様。
They definitely talked a little bit more, even
どうした？俺はガキのおもりをするつもりはねえぜ。
right.
あ、分かってる。
They talked a bit more beyond what we just saw on screen.
けれど十三、エドムントの行き先に心当たりはあるのか？
いや、だからまず旦那の正体について調べさせてもらおうか。
Retired.
なんだと？名簿が見せられないか？
だから名簿じゃなくてお探しの方のエドムント・ベーカーさんの項目に閲覧制限がかけられているんですってば。それにしてもこんな項目あったのね。それよりあなたオーバーエクステンドでしょ。
免状なら持ってるぜ。
だったら従軍経験者よね。おかしいわ。こう見えて私記憶力には自信があるんですのよ。なのにあなたを軍の名簿で拝見したことがないわ。
He is probably classified.
あらやだ、確かに免状は交付されてる。どういうことかしら。私の記憶には間違いないはずなのに。
騒がせて悪かったな。
あー待って、傷痍退役軍人支援団体活動資金の
十三、
He's not exactly disabled, old lady.
収穫もあったしな。エドムントって男のことがわからねえってことがな。
それのどこが収穫なんだ？
さっきの役人は俺のことを名簿で見たことがねえって言っただろう。つまりエドムントの項目みてえに
That's right.
制限がされてるってこった。
それって。
どちらも上にとっては隠してえ存在。つまり俺とエドムントは同じ穴のムジナってことさ。
十三と同じ。
Covert ops, secret technology, secret missions, all that good stuff.
心配ないっすよ。無理しなきゃもう痛みもないですからね。それより今月はもうカツカツですよ。どこかに金回りのいいお客さんが倒れてないっすかね。
He's gonna meet Edmund.
わかってるっす。そんな都合のいい話あるわけないって。
Of course.
これだけ探して手がかり
And they can just go back and they're like, hey, it's right here.
思いだが退役軍人局のつてを当たるしかねえか。一体どこ行っちまったんだエドムントさんよ。
Right behind the door.
俺と。こんなに若えのに拡張技師とは猛烈に感動したぜ。
わかったから手離すっすよ。
おお、すまねえすまねえ。
まったく、なんで鎮静剤を一月分もまとめて使ってしまうんですか。限度ってものが。
いやー俺っち豪快
Oh, so he's supposed to be like one of those delinquent,
よく生きてますね。
right? Riding the motorbikes and whatnot.
お、修造さん。
なんであんたがここにいる？
これは全く予期せぬ猛烈。
この人道端で倒れてたんすよ。ほっとくわけにもいかなかったんで手当てしたら。
命の恩人の家を荒らすわけにはいかねえな。
おいや、ここは私の家じゃって荒らす？
ついてこいよ。俺っちに用があんだろ。助かったぜ先生。この恩は必ず返すからさ。
知り合い？
幽霊が出る？ああ、だからあの地下室は立ち入り禁止になったんだってさ。
確かめに行ってみようぜ。
でも、
まずよ。これやっから向こうで貸しても買ってこいよ。
マジ？すげえ、やったー。
Basically, scram.
さっさと行きな。
オーケー。
しばらくこっち来んなよ。やっぱ子供ってのは柔軟だよな。俺っちたちを見ても驚 しねえんだもんな。
あんたエドムント・ベーカーなんだろ。聞いていた印象とは随分違うな。まるで白馬の王子様みてえに言ってたぜ。エマっつったか。あんたの連れ合いがよ、随分と心配してたぜ。
そうかい。俺っちの予想は猛烈に当たってたってわけだ。だったらさっさと終わらせることにしようぜ。そら
なんだったんだ、いきなり。よせ、一体何の丸だ。
さあ追い詰めたぜ。
こいつ動きがめちゃくちゃだが喧嘩慣れしてやがる。
Is this actually going to turn out just to be some sort of misunderstanding?
お前よ、俺のエマに手出してんじゃねえぞ。
はあ、てめえ何か勘違いしてねえか。
とぼけるな。狙う相手を間違ってるぜ。相棒。
相棒だと。
重蔵さん遅いですね。
重蔵はエドムントのことを同じ穴のムジナだって言っていた。
それって噂をすれば
エマさん、
お客さんすか？
ちょうどよかった。ご主人が見つかって今重蔵と。
だろうと思いましたわ。ごめんなさい。許して。
あれからもう何年だ？正直なところ逃げ切れたと思ってたぜ。
Huh?
そうじゃなかった。あの日全てを破壊するお前の一撃を見て猛烈に背筋が凍ったぜ。あれはお前のメッセージだよな。俺っちが名前や姿を変えようとも
What?
見つけ出して復讐するっていう。
いや、それは
けどよ、俺っちゃお前の
What the hell?
この手でお前を始末するってな。
話聞けよ。
運動無用だぜ。
てめえばかり喋ってんじゃねえよ。このバカなやが。
Kind of like you.
ガンズライブユニットの全身は絶縁皮膜で覆われている。
ガンスレーブユニット。やっぱりてめえは。
だがな、お前にしこたま打ち込んだ特製の同来心を返せば話は別だ。
Oh.
さあ、豪快に試してみようか。火薬の詰まった頭に猛烈な電撃をぶつけりゃどうなっちまうかをな。
重蔵、お菓子のお裾分け、ちゃんと食べて。
さっきのガキ。
天候来号来帝番犬。
The hell? He's gonna have to protect.
あっちだ。
The hell?
だからしばらく戻ってくんなっつったのによ。もう行きな。
オッケー、またね。
なぜだ。なぜ電撃を俺に放たなかった。
聞きてえのは俺っちだ。なんであのガキを俺っちに投げてよこした。
そんな技を使うからにはてめえの体も絶縁処理してんだろうと思ってよ。
なるほど。自分の身より赤の他人のガキを助けることを優先したってのかよ。お前、俺っちの相棒5じゃねえな。
だから言ったろうが。人を殺そうとするちゃんと確認しやがれ。
悪い悪い。なぜお前ら豪快に言うとみんな。
Oh, 5. Okay, 5, 7, 13.
哲郎、エマ、二人してどうしたってんだ。
この人はエドムントの標的が重蔵だと知ってて依頼したんだ。重 重蔵がエドムントの前に姿を現すように。
なるほどな。旦那の代わりに俺を探し出したってわけか。
どうしてだエマ、なんでそんなことを。
ごめんなさい。あなたが失踪した後、残された写真や新聞の記事から銃頭の男を追っていることはすぐに分かったわ。
Right.
おいや、豪快に全部放りっぱなしだった。
So his partner was actually one of the gunslave units.
大雑把な性格だから。
5. Looks like they're all numbered, right? 5. The other gunslave unit, 7. Juzo, 13.
一人にはなりたくなかったの。エド、あなたテオドールなんでしょ。
何言ってんだよエマ、俺っちゃ。
あなたは愛し合うとき、必ず私の傷に口づけをし。
I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys could. You're choosing to bring that up now?
ああ、いや、それはお前がその傷のことすげえ気にしてっから、傷も込みで愛してるぜっていう、その。
同じことをテオドールも言ってたわ。
Alright.
そのおかげで私はこの傷を隠すこともなくなった。
I mean, I guess I can kind of get why he did this. Because he was,
一度もこの傷を気にしたことはないのよ。
because he's worried that Emma wouldn't love him anymore. Since he changed this much. What a farce this whole thing is!
いいのよ。全然騙せてなかったから。
These two are like, OMG.
けれど、どうして他人になりすます必要が。
それはお前さんの相棒ファイブの目をそらすための偽装工作だったんだろう。
Okay.
てめえとてめえの周りの人間がファイブの復讐の対象にならねえようにってな。
ファイブ。
あんた、あいつのことを知ってんのか。
よく覚えてるさ、あいつのことは。
なら教えてくんねえか。ファイブが今どこにいるのか。
He's
それ
dead.
が分かれば俺っちは。
He's dead.
その必要はねえよ。
I put him down.
あいつは俺が6年前にこの手で始末したんだからよ。
Yeah, he is the 13. He is the one who's the insurance policy. Alright, see you guys after this. Well, we certainly don't need further explanation as to what Juzo meant at the very end there. We've already been told from a few episodes ago that Juzo's role within the Gunslave unit is kind of special, right? He's the 13th, and he's the one who's going to take care and dispose of the other Gunslave units once the war is over and once their usefulness has, has been completed, right? So, I mean, it's not explicitly stated yet. However, I do think that that's what Juzo is trying to imply throughout all these episodes, because he keeps on saying, he's the one who betrays the others, he's the one who has blood on his hand, he's not innocent and whatnot. So I do feel like, the most logical explanation is that Juzo is the one who, I mean, they are clearly very, very dangerous weapons of war, right? These gunslave units, and their primary purpose is war. So it would also kind of make sense to, especially if in the case that they had some pretty, if the unit was used for some more questionable things, or maybe they had some questionable technology or questionable practices, then it would make sense that there would be someone to silence the entire unit, right? So you guys have outlived your usefulness, now to make sure that nothing bad happens during this peacetime, wipe out the entire unit, right? It's kind of cruel, but I can kind of see where they're coming from. And apparently Juzo is the one that's designated to complete this task at the very end. Although I do find it, I think I mentioned this a few episodes already before, that I do find it kind of also interesting that Juzo himself wasn't also taken out at the very end there, just to tie up any loose ends, right? But anyways, that's probably what he meant by I took care of 5. I could be wrong. Maybe 5 is just a rogue unit, and Juzo just took care of him, just like just how he would take care of any rogue unit. But I kind of feel like with what Juzo has been saying throughout all these episodes so far in the second season, that it was probably just part of his job that he needed to, kill or disable or dismantle, whatever you want to call it, retire. Let's put it this way: retire the rest of the Gunslave units. As for the Tetsuro part, well, I think that pretty much was obvious, right? He returned back and was released unscathed. There's got to be something fishy going on here, and I kind of feel like Juzo probably knows as well. He's just not choosing to confront Tetsuro over this matter because, come on, Juzo wasn't dumb. I feel like anybody would be kind of suspicious, knowing that Spitsbergen were just willingly, releasing these hostages, right? Like, what do they gain from this? What does Spitsbergen gain from this? Nothing. So there has to be some sort of reason here. Maybe some deal was made, some compromise, or etc., etc. But Juzo was just simply, taking the time and waiting for the moment that Tetsuro actually opens up himself about the entire situation. I feel like there was definitely more conversation between Spitsbergen and Tetsuro than we've seen in the anime so far, which we'll probably get later on in the flashback or some sort, right? So that would be that. I'd like to talk a little bit more about sort of like the pacing and style of this series so far, because I feel like, I actually do like this kind of style. And once again, even though I feel like I've been mentioning this too many times now, but I really do feel it has a style similar to Gintama. In the sense where, you have clients that come in, you're running a sort of a consultant service shop, whatever you want to call it, and then you would have different clients come in and they would be the trigger of basically a next story or a next arc, right? And then these next stories, these next arcs would also have the greater overarching backstory kind of sprinkled within. So in this case, this was a perfect example of this, right? So they were minding their own business, a new client came in with a new request, so they went forward with this story, and that basically spanned out this I guess it was only one episode, but it could have spanned out through an arc, right? And a few different chapters or a few different episodes. And then, and even though it's a sort of isolated story by itself, at the end of it or within it, we can see some elements of the bigger backstory being utilized as well, such as in this case, the story of Emma and Edmund or Fyodor, whatever you want to call him, isn't really all that relevant to the main story, right? But what is relevant is how he was searching for 5, one of the Gunslave units, and through this, we learn a little bit more about Juzo's backstory as well. So I really do like this sort of method, and it's one of the things why I really like Gintama that much, because I like how they transition from seemingly seemingly unrelated things and manage to spin an entire backstory based on this, and also make the transition from casual everyday stuff to serious multi-episode, multi-chapter big arcs seamlessly, right? They transition between that seamlessly. So I do feel like I'm getting that sort of vibe from No Gun's Life as well. Although obviously I feel like the execution really isn't all that comparable. And in fact, I find it kind of weird that they are choosing to revert back to this sort of episodic thing now, when back in the first season we were basically already being told the entire backstory between like Tetsuro and Juzo and all that. And in fact, we were explained a lot of things in regards to Juzo already, right? Like his past and so on and so forth. When I feel like this could have been better utilized if it was if they drip feeded this to us through stories such as this one, right? So you can imagine maybe in the first season we get a lot of these kinds of stories where it kind of hints at Juzo's past. Like, say for instance, if we didn't know, like if we didn't listen or we didn't hear about Juzo's monologue back then when he was talking about how he was the 13th and he had a special job and all that, right? Actually, was that a monologue or just a dialogue? I kind of forgot, but anyways, we heard a mention of that already a few episodes past, right? So that kind of already spoiled like what Juzo was saying at the very end here, at least for me. I mean, once again, I could kind of be wrong, but I highly doubt it. I think that's probably how the story is going to be utilized. How much better would it have been if they instead swapped these stories around, right? So maybe early on, maybe even back in season 1, we learn about this sort of situation with we had this sort of situation, this story with this client, and in the end it was revealed that, hey, Juzo actually killed one of his own brethren, right? One of his teammates, squad mates, unit mates, whatever you want to call it. And then maybe we can dig deeper and deeper into Juzo's backstory and what he's actually trying to represent here. And then maybe later on we can follow up with Mary's backstory, with Tetsuro's backstory, with Spitsbergen, and gradually build onto it. As it stands right now, I get this kind of feeling where we already have this bigger backstory in place already, and yet through, even though we already know that there's a lot of these serious and important things going on, suddenly we revert back to some seemingly innocent and seemingly filler-like sort of content or sort of storyline. I don't know, I just feel like that transition is a little bit awkward instead of the other way around. But in any case, that's it for this episode. So I presume in the next episode, maybe we'll see Juzo elaborating a little bit more, although I'm not quite too confident on that one. He could literally just leave it at that, and then that's it. And the next episode we'll be starting another new story, maybe a new client or something like that, and then eventually all of this is going to come together. Right? That's also possible. I don't know. But in any case, well, that's it for episode 18, and I will see you guys next week as well. Stay tuned. Bye bye.